am. Very small, but I'm in there. So, hello everyone. How was your Sunday today? Everyone knows what I was doing. I was running around being sweaty and horrible and riding a bike. They had this damn hill, and it was like 7 times we had to go up this hill because it was a circuit course. I'm getting too old for it. You really need to put the training in. But there we go. I am 25. Speaking of ages, I'm going to do an introduction. So I'm going to do, yo, Savage Sharky, whoever you are. Julianne, Lisa, my mod, Andrea, Aldon. Hello, Aldon. Another one, an imposter. So I'm going to do it sounds like a meeting. I'm going to do an icebreaker. An icebreaker. You're saying, oh no, I have to make something like a Blue Peter piece of confetti or something. I don't know, or a loo roll, something out of a loo roll. Buenas tardes, everyone. Linda. I'm pretending I know what that means. I'll just do the icebreaker. What I want to know how old my viewers are, really. But you don't have to say. I'm just doing an age range, but you don't have to say. Now, put one in the chat. I can't remember this. Somebody's going to have to write it down. Put one in the chat if you're between the age of 65 up to 100. Wide range, isn't it? No, I'll say 75 up to 100. Put one in the chat. If you're, are you 75, Linda? You don't look it. Can't see you anyway. Put in the chat if you're between 70 and 75. But two in the chat. Put 3 in the chat if you're between 65 and 70. Put 4 in the chat if you're between 60 and 65. Put 5 in the chat if you're between 55 and 60. Put 6 in the chat if you're between 50 and 55. Matt Perney, leave it. Oh, really? Well done. Put 7 in the chat if you're between 45 and 50. Put an 8 in the chat if you're between 40 to 45. Put a 9 in the chat if you're between 35 to 40. I'm going to get confused in a minute. Cool. Put a 9 in the chat if you're below the age of 30. Linda Cole, 68. Everyone knows how old I am. It's no secret. I'd hate saying my age. I used to stop when I was about 45, when I used to say I was 39. And people said, you've had a hard paper round. Number 8, Liam. Yeah. Put, do we get to 10? 10 in the chat if you're below 25. I probably missed one out there, haven't I? 30 to 35. That's better. Just put your age up, or between age. Is there anyone between the age of 18? Don't say you're 13 because you're not allowed in here otherwise. Just lie. 18 and 30, 18 to 30. 18 to 30. Do you remember those? I never went on one. I was very quiet. I was out riding that bike all the time. Angela Smith, sorry, people are coming in. How many I've got? 41 at the moment. Had a hard paper around what you did, Shark, or me. I'm always getting that. I'm always getting say I look in my 60s. Why worry? I don't know. Can't see the bald patch, can you? 9. So hopefully we've got no one under the age of 8. Is 18 on here or 16? Just interested. Just interested. Hi, Stargate. I do watch your videos now and again. They don't appear on my news feed, so I sort of have a mixture on my news feed, so I watch the news feeds. Okay, 45 is going up. 45 people, that's good. 45 people, you must be interested in something. Is it true crime? Maybe. You've seen the agenda. I did have that preview on my phone, but this is my tablet. It's a new tablet. So it rubbed off the preview, but it doesn't matter. I got in anyway. And I've had some tuition as well. So I'm getting there. You have to pay to put videos on, etc. I think I can put pictures on. I'm not sure about videos, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Toby Carberry today. Yeah. What did I have? What did I have? Had something at home. Right. Shall we begin? So you've seen the agenda. What do you think? Good. Put a 1 if it's a good agenda. Put a 2 if it's a bad agenda. Put 3 if you don't matter. You just want to chat. Chat in the chat. Look at me. Good agenda. I don't know whether the first case. I'm going to go into the first case now. 47. There's going to be people come in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link in the chat because there are a couple of people coming on in a moment. What was I live about again? So what I'm going to talk about is true crime. So I've got an agenda. So the first person I want to talk about, it is true crime. So I'm going to talk about Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So she was found in a boot of a car in California. It's a mystery. She was 14. She just turned 15 after they found her on September the 8th of this year. Bit of a troubled child. She was having a relationship with David Burke. He's a singer, and he's quite a good one, actually. I saw his videos. He owned the car that she was found in the boot. So she was 2 days after her 15th birthday, she was found. She was found unalived. She was found decomposed, so she'd been there a long time. And also she was found, it says, manipulated, but afterwards it said on the news report she'd been dismembered. So it's very odd. It was in his car. He's cooperative with the police. Now she's 15. The odd thing is he's 20. Now, who am I to say that they were having a relationship? But it seems as though they were. So there were videos in the past. She was very fiery, very troubled. She went missing a year ago. So what I want to know is it a whodunit? Did she kill herself? I'm saying no, she didn't kill herself, did she? Because she was found in the boot. She was dismembered. Unless she did commit suicide and somebody said, oh, it'd be a good idea to frame somebody, frame the singer, and chop her up, put her in the boot. Very strange. So she was found by a traffic cop. He didn't even look in the boot. I don't suppose you would. It was illegally parked, apparently, or it was there a long time. So he checked the tyres. The tyres were illegal. And he also got it towed away, got the car towed away. So they didn't notice until they unhitched the tow hook, no, not the boot, that she was in there. So he's apparently been called. So David, his name is D4VD. You can Google him. He is a good singer, etc. He's cooperating, but he's been called to the police station. Nobody knows why. If you do know why and you find out any more, if you check Twitter, I've checked everywhere and I can't see why he's been called, but it could be something to do with having a relationship with a minor. So they could pin that on him. What I don't understand, they're doing a toxicology report, so they can't treat it as suspicious or a crime at the moment. Is that crazy or what? That is dodgy. Liam, yeah, that guy was seen hanging around the school. I wouldn't be surprised. So what do we think, guys? What do we think? So it is a crime, isn't it? So she's in a boot. She's dismembered, apparently, if I've got that right. And she's decomposed. She wouldn't put herself in the boot. So why aren't they treating it like a crime? Is this is this the way the police operate again? They operate over in this country in the same way? Very strange. Yeah, I can't believe. Apparently he's going to the police station. I mean, you'd hold him in remand, wouldn't you? Really? Crazy. I'll go on in one moment. Jan's coming on. She knows a lot about that case. Hopefully she'll be coming on to talk about that. I wanted to also, the secondary person I want to talk about is John George and Maddie's recent arrest. I'll talk about that one. Also, if we've got time, in a nice way, I wanted to talk about the reaction to the video from a creator that you know, and creators in general that you know, to the documentary, being on the documentary. We've heard from Wax, hi Lisa Ruston, Al Bond, Al Don, really, Al Bond. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, being Bond? Yeah, so we will talk about that as a reaction, and then we'll see where the chat takes us. What I didn't want to do is talk about Jay Slater for the whole live again. So there we go. I'll put the link into the chat. Also, if anyone wants to say hi, they can say hello, as I said, if they wanted to. So I'll put that in there. So, there we go. The link's in the chat. You can come up and say hello if you want and disappear 2 seconds if you want to, but you don't have to. Now, anyone can come on if they want to talk about Celeste Hernandez. Did you say about 30 grand? What did I say about 30 grand? The US legal system is wild. Yeah, it is at the moment. We can see that happening with the Charlie Kirk assassination. What are they doing with that case? It's been pointed out to them online. Are they like reluctant to look online? I don't want to listen to them idiots, armchair detectives. Crazy. So 57 in the chat. Andrea Harvey and weed. So I'm just picking up. Tashelle, hello, Lisa Austin. Said that. Donna. Palo, how'd you say that? Palo or Polo? Palo? Don't know. Duncan would know. Maggie. The person who put into boot of the car. So does anybody know whether forensics have come back with anything? It's hard to believe that there weren't any forensics on that body. When anybody touching that body, surely it would leave. Even if you wear a glove, don't you leave like strands or something? I don't know how it works. If anyone's in forensics, they can tell me. Hello, Claire. Thank you, Savage. Yeah, I did join in about 2006. I think I bored you with that already, and I had a 15-year break. But I did think about doing lives, but I've never got around to it. It's crazy. I did look on YouTube, not YouTube. This is YouTube. Well, this is StreamYard through YouTube, but I did look on TikTok, and I see everybody does them, and they're quite interesting. Just normal people having a chat. It's brilliant. And you can scroll up, and you go into lives, and you think, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, but I watch a lot of the lives. I don't know what's coming up, so I don't know how to on TikTok. I never go on there. I seem to have 9,000 odd subscribers. I don't know how. I put like rubbish on there, but I think it's easy to get followers, aren't they? They call them followers, so it's quite easy to get followers on there. I'm not heavy breathing, am I? Hello, Duncan. Late. That's all right. You're late, Duncan. So you have to write out 100 times, I must not be late, I must not be late, and you can write it in any language you want to. Oh, I don't know. So Duncan, if Jan's not in yet, is she at all? Because Jan's quite an expert on the Celeste case at the moment. I'll put the link into the chat, Duncan, in one moment. Just bear with. So yeah, it's crazy. That case is crazy. So what I should think should happen is, one, he's add up for having a relationship with a minor, or they've got to prove it first. How are they going to prove it? Don't know. So that's the first thing. Two, have they got any clues? They need to find out. They need to look at forensics. She was in the boot. She's dismembered. So it doesn't say how she was dismembered. What does that mean? Both arms and legs, one arm, a head? I don't understand. Has anyone seen the crime scene, the gruesome crime scene of that body? Celeste Rivas Hernandez been in that boot? Yeah, I know Duncan's been called out. Just reading the chat. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So there is a lot going on, twos and fro's at the moment. I didn't really want to get into that because I don't know the full story. It's going on. It's not nice. So for me to talk about it, especially of what's going on at the moment, it's just too sensitive. And I was going to say, Duncan made a video of it. I didn't want to get into that. I mean, the people concerned, shall we say the AG, they could put something on a live and invite Duncan over or people over. Maybe they'd feel more comfortable with that because they can control the live. That could be a way, or they might not want to talk about it at all. At the end, when we're talking about the creators' view on them in the documentary, I might say then you can come on then and talk about it. But then again, people don't want to do that. So I can leave it to then. I'll just put a link in the chat for Duncan if you would like to come up. Or Jan if she's around. 81 in the chat. It's growing. Must have just eaten. What did you have for tea, everyone? Or do you call it supper? Some people call it supper. I know supper is like a last meal at night, but some people do. Sort of well-to-do people. That should be in there now, Duncan. You can push that. Because we will also talk about John George. I wouldn't like to say Duncan is an expert on John George, but he knows a lot. I need to add the stage in a minute, don't I? Duncan, are you? Is it working for you? The link? Can you see the link in the chat? Steve the Cockney, hello. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're well. Doing well. Joe Connolly, hello. Joe Jones. Joe Jones. That's quite a common name. Used to know a Joe Jones. Used to be one of my next door neighbours when I was a kiddie. Jules, not Jules Holland. Anna. Oh, Jan's entered. There we go. At the stage.
Hey.
And Duncan. The usual suspects. Fancy seeing you here, Jan.
You got me in a
Can I just say,
sandwich.
really? You eating a sandwich?
You naughty boys.
I won't. That'll only upset my stomach. Jan gave me some tuition in StreamYard.
Yeah.
So I'm working my way through it and it's looking a lot better. I mean, I'm in the house, so the signal was better because you know what happened? Rats ate through the 50-meter cable that went to the garden room, and I found the problem. And the rats had eaten through the cable, so I've got to connect that in some ways, or I'll get someone else to come in and connect that.
Oh, no.
We haven't got a dirty house. We haven't got a dirty house. It's just we do have a problem. I used to remove like little mices with the friendly mice traps, and I removed about 14 of them, and I put them over the road. I'm sure they run back again, but I put them over the road so it'd be safe for them. 14 of them. I can't find myself to like bring people in to kill them with poison, etc. But anyway, I'm going off piste. Little lapdog, hello. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so Jan, we were talking about Celeste. So you've already covered this on your videos. So did you manage to find out whether he is actually going to the police station or not? There was some talk about that. Has anyone else in the chat heard about that?
Sorry, God,
David.
I didn't catch everything you said because I've had to go on my computer. What did you say?
That's all right.
Say that again.
So the Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It's got a ring to it. Has he been called to the police station? Because he's already talked to the police.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay. I don't know because I haven't been on Twitter today, so I don't know the latest. But I don't know whether he's been arrested. But
okay.
Oh my God, it's a horrendous story, isn't it?
It
Um,
is. Imagine finding that when you get the tow guys opened up the boot and they find it's apparently. Do you know it was a dismembered body? Apparently, is that right?
yes, yeah, she was
Do you
dismembered, bless her.
do you know what was cut off? I don't want to be morbid, and I send my
No, I
heart to
don't,
the
and I
family.
don't
What was
know.
cut off? A
I
head or
don't,
arms?
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
No,
Um,
well, I do.
was
Duncan probably will.
but she was dismembered. Bless her. We have to remember she was a 14-year-old girl. There's a huge backstory. There's a lot of um, situations, family dynamics. I think is involved in this as well, and her family dynamics. Not sure about his family dynamics, but I know with her, she was basically. Yeah, I know you have to be careful about what you say about family, but I understand she wasn't that close to her family and had run away at least once before. This occasion, before she was discovered in the boot of the car, she had been away for a year. So from the age of 13 to 14, I think I'm right in saying, or maybe it's 13 and a half to 14 and a half, she had been missing. Um, the family were aware of a relationship that she had with this singer. Um, they'd met on Discord. Now, I've heard of Discord, I don't use it. I had somebody start a Discord up for me once, and I was like, oh my God, I can't be bothered with all that. So I never bothered with it. But yeah, apparently they met a couple of years before. There's talk that she may have only been 12 when they first started communicating. It's a very troubling story, very troubling. How this young girl was even allowed to speak to this guy. Yeah, it's just horrendous. Hi, Duncan. Oh, he's gone again.
Claire Aust, uh, Claire Austin has asked, were all the body parts actually in the boot? Do we know?
We don't
That's
know that
interesting.
as yet.
Yeah,
Um,
Savage Shark.
yeah,
Yeah, she is 15 now. She is 15 now.
she
She
had
would have
her
been.
15th birthday whilst in the car.
Yeah.
So she was
Okay.
14. And God
Okay.
rest her soul, she had a
Yeah.
birthday when she was in the boot of the car. All all signs point to this guy. Is he gonna come out with some defense? I don't know. He's um enlisted the help of a top lawyer. So that should tell you something.
Mm.
Um right. Maggie's saying she was not 15. She was
Well,
14
she was
and
14 when she disappeared, um, unalived, and then 15 2 days after they found her, I believe.
no, she had a
Something to
birthday whilst yeah, well whatever. It's just minor details really. At the end of the day, she's she's no longer with us and
yeah.
it's a terrible, terrible story. Hey Dunks, how are you?
Third time lucky, maybe. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
Okay. I have an echo, but it's because of the room I'm in. It's not the echo from you guys. So I think I've solved the problem. Hi Al, hi Jan, hi
Oh yeah.
everyone.
Hi.
Yep, yep. Yeah.
The-
So sorry, Jan, what were you saying? 'Cause I
I
don't
can
know
hear
this
you
place
loud
that
and clear,
well.
Duncan.
Good, 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 good.
I was talking about I was talking about the Celeste story.
Right.
Are you aware of that, Duncan?
I'm aware of it. I don't know a lot of the details, but it seems like the Jay Slater case that a lot of the details are still unknown, being debated, or just haven't been announced. it's a tough one to follow. I did just hear you say, Jan, that apparently she had run away from home more than once. I think it was like 3 or 4 times. It was a
Yeah.
repeated thing. And that's what really caught my attention, because I didn't read or I didn't hear anything about the reasons behind that. And it was another one of those, the family, I don't think, have come out and said what that was all about. It's just she ran away 3 or 4 times, and this time, yeah, ended up in the boot of that car.
Yeah. Well, I understand that the parents have gone radio silent. Um, but yeah, that I watched. I can't remember the name of the blooming channel I watched now, but I watched this channel that went into great detail about her background and everything. And apparently, although there was I think a year ago, everyone was told that she'd gone missing. Okay, there was an amber warning and everything, or whatever they use in America, and they said that she was missing. But they found some footage of her back home about 6 months ago arguing with a neighbour, or there's like this huge argument going on, and she was
Right.
actually on there. So it's like the person, I wish I could remember the name of the channel, but the person that was presenting the program was saying, well, why did everybody not think, well, isn't that strange? Because she's meant to be missing. I'm telling you, this is going to be huge. This is going to be a huge story when it comes out. And,
Yeah,
I don't want to implicate anybody, but I think the facts need to be known. And
Sharky said in the chat, sorry, can I
Mhm.
just cut in?
Yeah,
Sharky said she was from El Salvador, so the body was found in California. So I take it that D4, so I think about it, D4VD, so I just call him David. So
just call David.
he was in California. So he's got a lot of money. He's very good. If you watch it, he's got a very smooth voice, but it's so suspicious. So he's got a lawyer, obviously. He's got money. I
He's got a
just
top lawyer.
wonder why. I just wonder. There was a video shown when he first met her, I believe, and he was playing with her ponytails. Now she looked older. She looked older than 14, 15, 14. So he obviously thought she was older than that, and then he got together. So did he
No,
know
you're just
a lot about
assuming
her?
that, though,
Oh
aren't you?
no,
I'm
no, no.
sorry, but you're
It,
just assuming that.
I'm not. Well, I'm assuming that bit, but I know on a news article he was apparently, allegedly paying people to shut up about her age, about the age gap.
He
So
knew the
that's interesting.
he
Huh?
knew the age.
He. Oh yeah, he knew the age, but he was paying people apparently, allegedly, to shut up about the age gap.
No, I
So he
haven't.
knew he was doing. Yeah, it was. I should have snipped it, but it did say that. But I think it's going to be big because he's.
It's going to be
I
huge.
didn't know him, but people in the music industry would know that guy. He is good, so this
No,
is going to be huge. He's only going to grow. Sorry,
uh,
Jan.
I, I would disagree with you there, but anyway, let's let Duncan speak.
Yeah, sorry, Duncan.
I don't know a lot more about it. On the subject of him being of sorry, on the subject of Celeste being Salvadorian, I mean, I think that is her family's background. I think
Yes,
she born and raised in California, but the parents are Salvadorian.
yes,
Um, what was I going to say? The confusing thing for me is that if I mean, it's not usual to drive around with a body in the back of your car. If you're some way aware of that or implicated, you'd get rid of it, I would think. This is. I mean, superficially, I'm trying to figure out how this works. I mean, do we know how long she was in the boot of his car? And what is? I mean, what does he say? I mean, someone opens the back and he says, "Oh my God, what's that
no,
in there?"
no. I think what happened was the car wasn't the car was parked outside the residence that he was
Right.
staying in, yeah, that was
Yeah.
rented by his manager. So I don't know why it would be parked on the roadside, but it was. So it started, it got to the point where people noticed it, and it was like, well, why is that car still there? It was parked there for at least 4 weeks. The neighbours kept ringing the police to come and have a look at it and move it on. And at one point they did move it on, but then it was moved yet again. And this is all over the space, I think, of about 4 or 5 weeks. So in that time, the neighbours are still like, come on, can you just get rid of this car that's been dumped here? I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the neighbours realised who it belonged to. So
Right.
they then, I don't know when they found out who it belonged to. I can't remember that off the top of my head. But they then eventually moved the car. By that time, it was all dusty and obviously had been abandoned. So the cops came, or whoever, recovery people came, picked the car up, took it to the car pound. When they got there, it's like they could smell something. And it was like, this smells a bit weird. And that's when they discovered it. They opened it up. It wasn't that the police, I don't even think it was, I'm not even sure it was the police that
Mm-hmm.
discovered it. But yeah, it was in the car pound. And there is actually videos, clips of the tow truck bringing the car in and then opening the boot. Now, the car, because it's a Tesla, the boot's at the front, apparently. So you can see that they've lifted up the front and the poor young girl was in there. There's
Right.
just so many weird things to that case. I mean, why
Yeah,
would he
Maggie in the
leave
chat.
it? Yeah. Okay, let's
Maggie,
look at the
sorry.
chat.
Maggie in the chat was saying that she was from El Salvador, but she was actually living in California. So she
Yeah.
wasn't just going over for a day trip or something like that. She'd
Oh,
met him
no.
over there. But it's just strange. If he knew her age, why would you go for somebody that young? I don't know what they're like. If they're strict, I presume they're strict in the States about that. It's crazy, isn't it? Would you face prison, do you think, if you're an underage girl now?
Oh, of course. Of course. I think, that is the problem. And it's one of our fears as parents that our girls and quite possibly boys will be, suckered into these sort of relationships where they're inappropriate. And I think Discord makes that very easy for people to do that. As I say, I've never actually done it myself, gone into Discord. But from this video that I was watching, they don't have much criteria. You don't have to show your face in there. And from what I understand, they actually started communicating over that game. What's that big game? I knew it was going to go out of my head. Minecraft. Something like that. They communicated over that. And so she could have been any age. And in fact, she was. She was 12 at the time. And there's even a possibility she was younger. So she then got closer and closer to him in the Discord. But I don't know when they actually met up. But it's just awful. It's what, one of our biggest fears, that our children would sort of be in that situation. I don't know when she found out that he was like, a budding rap star or whatever, music star. But I mean, you have to think his career started online. He was an online star. He didn't go through the usual you know, passages towards a successful music career or any kind of music career. It was all done. It was all self-promotion and everything. There's a, you know, and there's a couple of sort of red flags. He was homeschooled, which means, in my opinion, it means that they're not socially, what's the word, inept. Well, that, yeah, I just feel they have a completely different social lifestyle if they're homeschooled, and he was definitely homeschooled. I don't know whether he had a religious family, but yeah, there's just so many things. But yeah, they met on Discord.
Can I just ask, what is Discord a chat thing or something? I don't.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And I mean, people online now, they take off online. It seems to be they take off online first now. In the olden days, you both probably remember the charts. So we had the charts and things, but now they
Yeah.
come out online and they're just as popular. It's a good media to get through. In the chat, Ming, yes, we're talking about. I'll say David because it's something like D4D or something. But yeah, so it was. He's quite big in America. Is he known over here? I don't know. Put in the one in the chat if you've heard of this singer.
I asked my boys, and they haven't. And one of my sons is in the music business. It depends on the genre. You know, music's huge, so it depends on the genre. But I did ask my son. He's 26. I said, "Oh, have you heard of this dude?" And he said, "Nah, never heard of him." Yeah, so someone says he's a TikTok star. See, they all come up. They, you know, a lot of them, if they get lucky, can come up through, you know, the platforms such as TikTok. TikTok's apparently quite a good one for that. Do you remember the guy that sang for in Eurovision? He was a TikTok star.
Who was that? Is that the one? That wasn't the one on the Strictly Dancing show, was it? A while ago.
I think he did go on there. He didn't dance, but I think he sang on there. Sam was his name. Brilliant voice.
Anyone know his name?
Wonderful boy.
I think he's the one that's having he's not having a baby, but she's having a baby. Is it what's her name? Anyone know? The one with the red hair is having a baby with him. I'm sure that's him.
No idea. Do you know Dance?
Diane, I think her name is.
I don't. I have no idea.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Mrs. Skeptical. Mrs. Skeptical. Sam Ryder, his name is.
That's him.
I
Yeah.
think.
He came up through you know, through lockdown. A lot of them sort of came up, or you know, first sort of got discovered through lockdown. But it's quite a small genre, really. I think it's getting bigger, but it's not recognized. Yeah, it's difficult. You know, you know, they're not always recognized as true professionals. Put it that way. It's like artists, and yeah. Anyway, we won't get on to that. But
can I say, Leanne has said, Leanne Reese has said that he had like looks like satanic symbols in his videos.
Oh my God! Yeah, you haven't even touched on that.
Can I just say, first of all, this is all alleged. This is out This is out in the news already. We're not accusing. I call him DVD, whatever his name is. We're not accusing David of doing the murder, but it's just that suspicious thing that we're thinking about.
No, it's fact. It's fact.
What fact that he? No, I mean we're thinking that he killed the girl. Do you know what I mean? But we don't know.
No, but you're saying that, you know, it's a suspicion that he focused. He had a high focus on death. That is fact.
All right. I didn't know that. So he's got satanic symbols. Is that just a fashion, or is that something going on in his mind? You know,
it's not a fashion as far as I know, but no, there's something very troubling about his work, about his lyrics, about his music, about his stage shows that he would bring on a coffin. Yeah, no, there's something very, very disturbing about that man. So let's
Duncan.
let Duncan chat. Yeah.
Yeah, Duncan, can I ask you what you think the next step should be in this case? Forensics? I just presume they've had forensics.
I mean, I really don't know enough about the case. I can only tell you my gut feeling is that these 3 or 4 episodes of her running away are not really running away. I think she's going off to someone, whether it's this David guy, whoever, to earn money doing whatever. And the 4th time or the 5th time, whatever this was, it went terribly wrong. That's just my, gut reaction to what we know so far. Um, Forensics, I don't know. I'm very concerned about this family being silent. Again, if they would just tell us or tell the world what they know about the 4 times she'd run off before, we might have some clues there. But I mean, talk about going through this a second time. It's the silence from the family that is the block here, isn't it? If we could find out the history of Celeste and what we know about her disappearing the previous times, I think we'd be on the right track. But you can work it at that angle, or you can come back the other way and start, asking David or whoever he is exactly how he knows her or the family or anything like that. It's got to meet in the middle somehow. How she ended up in the back of that car, but I just don't know the details like Jan does, or you, Al. It sounds like Jan really knows this case, so it's back to you, Jan. Forensics to find out,
Yeah.
how long or how she got in that car and all that.
Well, as Ming says in the chat here, the police are trying to get a solid conviction because the body was so decomposed, and that's true. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sort of a bit jolted about what you said, Duncan, in that you think that perhaps she may have been doing something for him. I don't know. I've not even considered that. I think he was naughty. I think he was very naughty. I can't think of a stronger word. To have been messing with such a young girl. But I don't like to think that it's got anything to do with his hyper focus of death and the macabre. I hate to think of that. And oh God, no, that's made my blood run cold. But yeah, as Ming says, they're holding back because they're not giving any information on what could possibly have been her cause of death because of the decomposition of her body, sadly. But it's like with the Jay Slater case. There are so many different I shouldn't say that. There's so many different branches that come off this, so many disturbing areas within this case that need to be looked at. There's a boyfriend. Now we're talking about this girl who was like 13, 14 when she died. And apparently she did have this boyfriend that they found in 8th grade who spoke on this other channel, and he actually said that she didn't get on with her parents. She was always slagging the mum off, didn't like being at home, and had told her school friends several times that she was going to run away. And the last time she ran away, they all like, oh yeah, all right, Celeste, you're going to do it, all right, because she'd done it so many times. So I think there is something going on with the family. It could just be it's a dysfunctional family who didn't give a toss about her. I don't know. We don't know yet. But that's what I've heard. That the boyfriend that they managed to get in and speak about or speak to did say that she just didn't like her parents. They weren't very nice to her.
Mrs. Skeptical said in the chat, what is it about GoFundMe? There was a GoFundMe, apparently a family GoFundMe, presume it was the girls, set up. The funeral scheduled for 4th of October, which is yesterday, wasn't it? And there was a GoFundMe set up. What is that all about?
Oh, I've not heard of that. Who set it up?
I don't know. Who set it up, Mrs. Skeptical? skeptical.
Yeah.
Also, Jules said that he thinks that she may have ended her life, but I don't think so. How would she end her life and get in a boot and then chop
No,
bits off her body?
that doesn't
What do
make
you two think?
that doesn't make sense. No, I mean, what, she's going to do? Chop herself up? No, no. Dunks, what do you think?
No, I don't see that from what you've said and what I know. I don't see that. No, I mean, is it possible that in wanting to get away from her home life, she got in with a crowd? Like I say, 3 or 4 times she disappeared or ran away from home, which it seems like she didn't do. To me, it seems like she was going to the same group of people or the same
Yeah,
place to get away and do whatever she was doing with them. And then it went wrong. But I'm wondering if someone else that actually took her life has somehow planted this all on David. Is there any chance now that now Jan, you're going down the track of him being some kind of satanic guy? Is there any chance he's totally innocent and this has been planted on him?
I've heard that. I heard someone say that, and I thought, oh my God, I hadn't thought of that. It's a possibility. We don't know. We can only speculate about that side of things at the moment, can't we? But
Right.
it's a possibility. I don't know.
Is do we know if it was anything to do with rugs? I'm just clutching at
That hasn't
straws.
come up yet. That hasn't come up.
That will be in the toxicology report. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, yeah, it's important. Okay, so Mrs. Skeptical says that $24,843 has been raised so far. I wonder who's Esmeralda Lozano set up GoFundMe for family. Why?
It was apparently for the funeral. Mrs. Skeptical said it was for the funeral, but that's quite an expensive funeral.
I don't know. Yeah, it is an expensive funeral.
So what we've got to do is just wait to see what the police say and what comes out of the toxicology report.
Yeah.
But it could be like Jay Slater, and it could be she had something in her system, but that doesn't tell us a lot. But then again, the autopsy would tell us how she died, and would they be able to tell what was cut off her body was afterwards? But the body is so decomposed that they can't get a lot from it. So again, we've got that situation again.
Yeah, there's that, isn't there?
Hi, Sugar Ape. Hi, mate.
I think
so he's a millionaire.
I'm hoping next week that more comes out about it. I just feel that because of the type of content that he delivered or he gave to his audience, it's all kind of macabre, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know, it's just awful.
Lisa in the chat. So he wouldn't set up a GoFundMe, the actual singer. It would be the family of the girl, which would I be right in saying that they can't control that girl? It's that you can't blame the family, can you really, Jan?
Yes, you can. I've had a discussion with somebody, I think it was under one of Duncan's videos, where I went, did you see it, Duncan?
I didn't, but I was ready to join you and leap in against Al and say, of course you can blame the family, but it depends on the circumstances. Go ahead, Jen. What were you going to say? You can blame the family because...
Yeah, listen, it's the family's responsibility to look after their offspring, for goodness sake. Schools don't do it. It's like I had this discussion with somebody under Duncan's last video, because they were like, most people were like, oh, well, you can't see what your kids are doing all the time. You just don't know what they're... Well, I'm sorry, but yes, you can. And there was some person who said, well, I'm a bit of a helicopter parent. And I'm like, well, I was exactly the same. I was like a Spitfire. I was a helicopter and a Spitfire. I knew exactly where my kids were. And even to this day, I know where they are. And they're all grown. And some of them have got kids of their own. Take the responsibility of your child as a parent. Stop expecting schools to sort it out, doctors to sort it out, therapists to sort it out. You are their parent. And I feel very strongly about that. So yeah, all this, oh no, you don't know what, you can't, they have no control. Why did they have no control over a bloody 12, 13-year-old? They should have had control over her. She's a beautiful young girl, and look where she's ended up.
Yeah, but Jan, I do understand that. But what do you do with a delinquent girl who just runs off? How do you stop her? I mean, you call the police don't know where she is. How
We
do you
don't
do
know
that?
if she was delinquent. That is, you're just guessing she's delinquent. And, children play up all the time. Yes, they do. But there's normally a reason for it. You do get the odd case where a child... Listen, I worked in education for 8 years. And I worked with students in secondary school. So I know about teens. And so many of those children were so damaged because of their family, and they didn't recognize it themselves, and they were the kids that were taken out and put in remedial class because the teacher couldn't deal with them, and all they needed was somebody to bloody listen to them and give them some sort of, and try and show them that it is worth trying to do better. You don't have to end up like your parents. You can do better. And, I'm sorry, I do get really passionate about it, because I hate this, where it's like, oh, well, no, it wasn't the parents. Yes, it is. I'm sorry, it is. I've had 4 kids. I've got 4 grandkids. Not one of them has been arrested, ever. Not one of them has got addicted to drugs. Not one of them has been addicted to alcohol. It's about foundations. It's about giving that child what they need and nurturing them. That's what I believe. Sorry to sound off. I'm a bit of a mama bear.
No, that's fine. Maybe I'm a bit hardened to that. It's just the parents then really should have been held responsible and perhaps arrested. I'm a bit confused whether the parents came from El Salvador. I've never been. I'm not well travelled like that. I've been the other side, so I've been.
It's got
But
nothing.
if it's a poor country and everything else, so doesn't that make a difference?
No.
Maybe because when I was,
whether they've got money or not. It's not money that brings up the children. Sometimes the worst kids, the worst offenders come from wealthy families. It's about the relationships within that family. And it's the parents, it's the grandparents, it's the siblings. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter where you live. Anyway, I shouldn't be yelling. Sorry. I'm quite.
No, that's fine.
Jump in, love. Jump in.
And I hear exactly what you're saying. I was going to say that you'll probably find just around the corner there's another Salvadorian family with 6 kids, and not one of them has ever been in any trouble. I, like you, Jan, I've been in this situation where you have, it's not the kid's fault that the kid is growing up in a terrible family, but you'll hear the parents say, "Oh, I'm sorry, the kid was late 3 times this week because of da 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 da," and it's some kind of excuse that doesn't really ring true. And then you say, well, that kid over there, he lives just around the corner from you. He keeps coming to school on time every day. What is the difference here? And it's very deep rooted, but you know, for every family that says I've got a delinquent child, you do have the reality that just around the corner, someone else is growing up in exactly the same circumstances and they're fine. So I don't know. I think at the end of the just to say at the end of this story, I think we're going to find that the parents are probably delinquent themselves, and they probably lost control of Celeste. I was going to say at a very early age. I mean, she's already very, very young, but yeah, years ago, had no control. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's about, yeah, it is. It's a generational thing. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's like two generations down. Do you know how proud I am when I go out with my kids and there's three generations and we can go and they can go anywhere, eat in the best restaurants, go to the best places, know how to behave in public. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm the perfect parent. I'm not. I've made mistakes. I've had issues with some of the kids sometimes. But if they don't have that foundation, if they're not taught from a very early age what is right and what is wrong, then there's a good chance that they could become delinquent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad you touched on that, Dunks, with the Jay Slater thing, because I think it's relevant there. I think it's very relevant how, what the family dynamics were.
We know so little. I mean, hours and hours and hours have been spent talking about Debbie Duncan, Warren Slater, Zach, but we know so little about them. And the only point I wanted to make the other day was, of course, the documentary showed this family as, you know, so cozy and close and well knit, and it was a wonder to behold. But you know that's propaganda. That cannot be the whole truth. We know that Debbie and Warren divorced. We know that Jay got involved in all kinds of things before he ever went to Tenerife. We can see who Jay's friends are. It's the whole story behind that negative side that will explain what went wrong. To a certain extent, we know the happy side. We know that there's videos out there of Jay, you know, as a toddler singing karaoke. It's all beautiful, wonderful stuff, but it's absurd just to show this positive family image and then think that somehow explains something. It's what we don't see here that is really very, very interesting, but we just don't know. We don't know the background to the family. And there's just one last thing I want to point out about the family. I haven't seen a whole lot of neighbors and local people that really know them coming out and saying much about them. I'm still staggered that, you know, we don't know what Warren's job was. I mean, I've got one contributor saying Warren was definitely, you know, window cleaner or working with a window cleaning firm, Blackburn. That's one person. But you would have thought by now, all of these months past, a whole load of people from Accrington, Oswald Twistle would have come out and said, you know, I can tell you so much about this family, but I haven't heard it.
No,
It's a
exactly.
bit strange. Yeah, it's
And
a bit strange.
apparently the mum worked in a school, so you would have thought that there may have been one of her colleagues that did an interview and said, oh, when we all heard about it at school, we were so upset for Debbie. And you were spot on with that video, Duncan. Spot on. It really resonated with me. And
Okay.
that's
Can
what
I,
we seem to be overlooking.
can I just jump in? What do you want to switch things around and talk about the video now, about the creator, about Wax, or do you want to leave that to the end?
No,
And
we
leave
could talk
John George.
about now, because I don't know
Yeah,
anything about
I'll
John
switch it
George.
around. Okay, I'll switch it around. What we'll do, just in the chat there, get it, boy. Yeah, hi mate, how you doing? Lisa said about Nicola Bully, the Nicola Bully case. I wanted to leave that until perhaps next week. Jan knows a lot about that case,
Yeah.
and she might be on the up and coming documentary. And also, I wanted to wait till Peter Baldwin, whether anything was going to happen to him, because he's contacting Starmer. straight to the top and said that he wants his case reopened. We don't know whether the sonar was a stick or a branch in the water. It was a mystery. I think that the police didn't want to know about it, and they palmed him off for some reason. They got rid of him. He's quite bitter. It would be lovely to get him on, Peter Spalding, because he's been on that show, which I saw on TikTok the other day. I think you mentioned, was it Breaking Ice or something?
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
good. I've actually done videos on Nicola Bully.
So you could be there if Peter came on, and then you can be here again, and we can. I'm not saying that we will, but I want to wait on that one. But what we'll do now, we'll swap it around. So we'll talk about John George at the end, and as we're talking about Jay at the moment, etc. I want to focus on what we thought of Wax's video. I think Duncan's touched on that in his recordings, but we're going to talk about all this together. So people in the chat and us as well. So I'll say my piece first of all, briefly. I think Wax was pretty sincere right from kickoff. He explained himself very well. He talks very fast. I have to put myself on like +2 or +3, and he explained himself so well. And they just showed one thing of him talking about Debbie crying and a bit of crocodile tears. I don't think she was. I don't personally think she knows a lot, but I think she knows more than she's letting on. So that's what I think. And it'd be great to get Wax on, but there we go. He's friends with Duncan in a way. But over to, should we go? Who should we go to, Jan or Duncan?
Jan, you go first.
Yeah.
Say what you think about what Wax said.
I think what I like about Wax is he's very open. I think he's very caring, and I think he's very honest. There's a reason why I like people who speak their truth loudly and speak the truth loudly. That's why I like you, Duncan. That's why I like Wax, and that's why I like Mama D. Now, with Wax, I just felt his pain. Obviously, he knows it's all coming for him now because Channel 4 put him up as the person or one of the people that has been attacking her family or Jay's family. It's an absolute disgrace. That's what I feel. And I think Wax held it down as much as he could. I have heard him go off more on something else, on a different video, and I can tell the type of guy he is. He's very similar to me, quite hot-headed. If we're passionate about something, we'll be hot-headed. I suspect Duncan is the same. I don't like to show it on my channel, but sometimes in a live, if we're talking about something I'm passionate about, I will get a bit loud. I think Wax is the same, and I think he had every right to post that video and give that response. And I think he is a very good man to have held it down, because I think what Channel 4 did is disgusting. That's my views on that.
Yeah. Well, let me share a little bit of background info that I feel happy to share. I've communicated over the months a fair amount with Wax, just emails, because that's how I do it. And for things like, photo analysis, he likes that kind of stuff, and he's very good at it. Mama D was also very good. It's not my thing. So occasionally I would send something to him, but more often than not, what really impressed me about Wax, he's actually a lot more careful than you think. This is my impression from when he's writing to me. A lot more careful than you think. When he's doing the video, he is, like Aldon says, he's very rapid fire. He's quite worked up. He knows what he's going to say, and as you say, Jan, he can be hot-headed. But before all that, I've had instances where he's run something by me, kind of thing. Is like, Dunks, would you go with this? Would you say that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I would. I would treat that idea you've got there pretty carefully. So my point is, before he does all that, he actually has, worked mentally through something a bit better than I do. I can wing it. Someone might send me something, not a photo, I'm not good at that, but they might send me, a screenshot of something from way back. And I will run with that, because I'll say, this is what I see, this is what it appears. And then afterwards, I think, yeah, that wasn't that convincing. But Wax, he comes across as knowing his stuff, because he does actually, I think he works mentally through something just very well before he puts it out there. And that's why, Jan, I didn't like the Channel 4 attack on him, because I think when Wax was saying, for example, it looks like Debbie might be acting there. Well, that's what it looks like to Wax. Wax is like me in that. We're not saying, she's definitely acting. It looks like she's acting. It's not coming across very well. And thousands of other people thought the same thing. But just for saying that, Channel 4 picked that and say this is some kind of, Looney Tune that's spouting nonsense. But that's what it looked like to a lot of people. I see nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. And I think I've just half an hour ago watched this big YouTuber talking about the case. And I thought, oh, okay, let's see what he's got to say about the documentary. And I just felt the air coming out of me like a balloon going down, because it's like all he's talking about is the documentary. It's like he's done no research on it, and I feel so sorry for the family, and and these creators this and that. And I've written something in there which I'm probably going to get attacked for, but I just said I am so disappointed that you've obviously done no homework on this story. And I mean, this guy's got 600 plus K viewers, subs, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, man? At least if you talk about something, have a bit of information about it. And that's another thing I liked, or I do like, about Wax. He knows what he's talking about. And you also know he's probably got a bit of a shady past somewhere. He's said that before. And it's like, so he speaks from experience, he speaks from the heart. And I think that's the best type of person that I want to receive information from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you add up, sorry, Aldon, go ahead.
Sorry, just want to cut in. Lou said he thinks through things first, Wax, before he goes into it. Apparently, the boxing match might still be on. I think that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, the boxing match
That's not
with
going
Rocky.
to happen.
Well, no, apparently he's going into training. There was just talk about it, that's all.
I think what
so
we
he's
have to realise also, sorry to talk over you, but I think what we have to think about also is that, Channel 4, I don't know what their viewing statistics were for that documentary. I've seen it come up on the TV again, and I keep seeing things about this documentary. And what we have to realise is Wax is a family man. Wax has got kids. He's said that before. So I don't know. I just think it's shocking that he has been put as a target, really. And the same with Duncan. The same with everybody that had their face shown on there. Nobody was going on their channel to make up a whole load of lies.
Yeah, when you add up the total number of, sorry, Aldon, I was just going to say, when you add up the total number of videos that Wax has put out there, I've put out there, Mama D has put out there, a whole host of people have put out there, you add up the totality of everything we've said, and the number of times anyone has ever come back and said you've got something factually wrong is Pretty much never. What we get is, you're lying, but they never say what the lie is. You're nasty. You're this, that, and the other. But we have hours and hours and hours of stuff we've analyzed and put out there. And the best Channel 4 can come up with, having all through everything that we've ever put out there, is what they found there. I thought that was almost like saying we can't find much on these guys. What we found we're going to put out there. Isn't it terrible? And I don't know. I've seen quite a few people, neutral members of the public, be like saying, no, we kind of agree, or we don't see what's wrong with that. So I actually came out of that documentary thinking the armchair detectives didn't look that bad at all, if that was the worst.
Yeah, I agree with you. They didn't look bad.
And one thing that Wax, in his reaction, one thing he spotted that I hadn't thought about, he took that grainy image of Jay in Tramps, and he was like, well, this could be Jay, but it might not be Jay, just because this is unseen footage, and all of a sudden Channel 4 is saying, well, here is Jay at 3:10 or something in the morning. That grainy image to me was pretty much the same as the one that was seen in Santiago, when everyone was saying, well, is that Jay? That's his posture. That could be Jay. And oh no, apparently that's a conspiracy theory. But Channel 4 put out the same grainy image of someone in the background that could be Jay. And we're all supposed to say, oh yeah, that's Jay. And Wax made that point. He was like, well, how do we know that's Jay? Just because Channel 4 are telling us that's Jay, you've got a circle around someone that may be Jay. No, good for you, Wax. Why is it that we have to believe what the documentary says? Same grainy type image somewhere else, and we're told that's all conspiracy theory. He made a good point with that. It's like, who are you, Channel 4, to suddenly pop up to say this grainy image must be Jay? I don't think so. Could be, but it might not be.
I'd like also to know who Channel 4's advisors were. Who was advising them that the information that they were putting out was factual?
Oh, I would guess Luggy and Chris off the top of my head.
Because one thing that they don't seem to realise is if you are in the true crime community, you're held to a certain standard. And if you don't reach that standard, then you're going to, all the other creators are going to come for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't seem to, I don't think that happens with production companies. I really hope a production company takes up the story from the creators. That's what I hope. And I know I saw somebody laughed that I said that I know people. Funnily enough, I do know, because I have worked in television, I do know some production companies. And I will get in touch with them and ask them if they would be interested in putting together a true documentary about YouTubers and TikTokers. I heard that the young lady was getting a bit of trouble. Have you heard anything about that, Dunks? Mariana,
I haven't. I mean, I hope she isn't, but
yeah,
I haven't heard anything. No.
Yeah, so I will. I know a few producers that work, and production companies in London. And I will. I'm going to start maybe next week. I'm going to see if I can contact some of them and and say to them, listen, this has come up from Channel 4 and it's hurt a lot of people, and it has hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, we've got somebody in the comment section slagging off Wax. I think I can speak for myself and Duncan and say we don't give a toss what he's done in the past. The Wax that we see now is, as far as I'm concerned, very genuine, very, very genuine. He knows what, if he has done anything in the past, it's none of our business. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, sure. You're going to get lovers and haters with any creator. It's just natural. I'm not saying one way or the other. It's a bad thing. It's how you put yourself out there. YouTube have certain guidelines where you've got to be respectful. So yeah, I appreciate some people are not going to agree on different creators. It's interesting what you say about the newspapers and the media, what they thought about the documentary. I read the Independent. I think it was the Independent, and they were slagging people off, the creators off as well, and they just took whatever the documentary said. But it's interesting because that was all wishy-washy and rubbish, really, because they mentioned at the end, random, about Nigel Farage in one of his speeches, etc., on something totally different. So I'm thinking, whether it's got to anything to do with a lefty or something like that, I don't know. But it was just odd how they put that underneath, saying about Nigel Farage, which had nothing to do with it. And also, it'd be interesting, yeah, if we had a documentary showing perhaps the creators and what they came up with, not in a bad light, but I don't want to spark off some of these huge arguments again because it's gone a bit beyond that. Yeah, so yeah, Jan, that'd be great if you can do that. If you have a word with the people, I don't know who are doing the Nicola Bully documentary that you said that might be coming along, perhaps you could mention it to them.
Yeah, I could find out what company it was that contacted me. But yeah, I just think that, social media is with us, whether people like it or not. And to completely dispel everybody and to just vilify them, that's what they're trying to do, is just wrong. It's something that I feel very passionate about, because we're not just voices. We're people. And I don't know if I appear on this bloody Nicola Bully thing. I don't know if my neighbours are going to come knocking on my door and saying, "Oh, you said this, you said that." And that's another thing that we need to understand, is that all these clips that were shown in the documentary were taken completely out of context. Where were the clips of us saying we just want justice for Jay? Where were those clips?
Yeah, there were. Going over old ground, we did talk about what was missing from that documentary. There was a lot missing. They couldn't put everything into an hour and 20, but they could have put the key points in. And where was Mark Williams Thomas? And where was some of the others that searched down the rapids? I know some people love him, some people hate him, but he was there, regardless of what he did. So there was a lot of things that were missing.
No, that's a good point, Al. Can I just interject here, because I think we all knew that when it came to the search for Jay's body, I think we all knew there was going to be a clip of Chris Pennington, and yet why not include Callum? Because Callum was boots on the ground. Callum was out there searching. Callum said, "I swear I've been past that point of the ravine 5 times and never noticed anything." Callum was a guy on record that had a whole lot to say about the search. And it does drive me a little bit crazy that we have the accident group out there saying, "Well, you weren't boots on the ground." I wasn't. Callum was, and Callum pretty much agrees with me. So what's your point? It seems to be the accident group is saying only if your boots on the ground and you can see this must have been an accident is your word valid. So again, why was it that Channel 4, when they decided to have just a short clip of someone searching, why was it Chris Pennington and not someone else? Why was it not, why could they not be bothered to invite a Guardia Civil guy and, just put the subtitles on and talk to one of them? But I had a feeling it's going to be Chris Pennington, because that's the narrative they've decided to follow. It wasn't exactly a neutral production, that one, was it?
Yeah,
So
Sheila Morris. Sheila Morris said in the chat that Callan was more trustworthy than Luggy. I'm not going to comment on that, but yeah, there was awful lot missed out. It's almost that something was missing, and somebody needs to put part 2. documentary. What? Where from here, Duncan? Where from here? Where do we go?
I'm still not sure if there is another documentary coming, because we've heard about the Spanish documentary, which I assumed was Chris and Luggy's documentary, but I don't know if they have done one. I don't know if there is another one out there. My feeling is there isn't. That Mark Williams Thomas mentioned it, and then it ended up being his podcast, and now he's gone. He's left the whole thing. I have a feeling, I don't know, I have a feeling Chris and Luggy did not make a documentary, that whole thing in June when they were with Jay's family was not a documentary. It was, I don't know what it was, just a get together to make sure that they all agreed it was an accident. But I don't know, has anyone heard any definitive word on another documentary that is coming out? If there is, I think we should wait for that and then work on our response, if you like, from the sleuth side. Has anyone heard anything definitive about another documentary?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard anything. But I mean, this one came out on Channel 4. Has there been one on Netflix? I don't think there has. Have there? Has there? It's just the Channel 4.
Yeah,
But
I think that might be it.
But there was so many things that were so obviously left out, and it's actually quite painful to watch, really, and painful to look back on and think, oh my God, they didn't even mention that, you know. And they even the bit where they said that Lucy had said to the police on the phone that she was actually staying with Jay in the house. And it's like, well, that was proved to be wrong. She didn't. He wasn't staying with her. It's like, it's just infuriating, really.
Yeah.
That's not true. If they do another documentary, Duncan will just accuse the family of cashing it. No, not necessarily. Where do you think the family spent their money? Where do you think that £75,000 went? I'm interested.
Yeah. Okay, Sugar Ape, I see what you're saying here, that I might accuse the family of taking the money and spending the money. So let's hear your side of the story. You tell us, where is your evidence that the family have got not a penny from any of the newspaper interviews, from the documentary, from the remainder that was in Jay's account? Where's your evidence, Sugar Ape, that they have made nothing out of this? Because it looks to me that the family have been grifting. That's what it looks to me. But if you can show me that I'm wrong, go ahead. Is Sugar Ape going to come up? I'm happy to leave the box if Sugar Ape wants to talk.
And it's true here.
I think he's happy to chat in the comments.
Someone here.
It does show the other side.
Yeah,
I
think it's important that these things are discussed, though. I don't think we can just brush them under the carpet. I know you want to move on with your channel, and that's perfectly fine, Al. But there are things that need to be discussed. And yeah, Duncan, I haven't said they didn't make any money, but they aren't cashing in. Okay,
this is precious. This is absolutely precious. I haven't said they didn't make any money, but they aren't cashing in. So Sugar Ape, define this. Where does the line get drawn between making money and cashing in? What is the difference there? Because to my book, if you're making money off of something, you're cashing in.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Are we talking about semantics here with, you know?
That's absolutely precious. Oh, I think they could well be making money. Oh, but they're not cashing in. That is the accident group for you there. Got it.
It's kind of, yeah. They are cashing in, and
of course they are.
Do you know, my granddaughter got leukemia when she was 2, and the hospital that she was being treated in was a fair distance away. And what with the car parking and everything, I drove there every day, and all the family did. And I actually put up a GoFundMe for basically just to help us out with the journey. And I didn't get a penny, not a penny. And
Right.
it's hard not to be bitter about it. I don't hold on about it now, but yeah, I mean, God, if I got 75 quid, 75,000 quid for that, I'd have been ashamed of myself. I couldn't have taken that money.
Right. And this is where there's a certain amount of confusion, because Sugar Ape is out there saying I'm hypocritical or this, that, and the other. I'm not. I don't actually have a problem with someone that's making money out of this situation if they're fine with it. My problem is there is no transparency here. And when the public have donated to a GoFundMe, I would have thought the least the recipients of that GoFundMe can do is take 5 minutes just to say, this was spent on this over here. This is what's remainder. That's going in my pocket. And that's it. Why do we not have a very, very simple explanation of where all of the donations went? It makes people suspicious. And I don't understand why Debbie has chosen not to do that. I'm fine with anyone makes money, but I mean, why hide it?
Duncan, Sugar Ape has put it on the screen there, so he wants proof or evidence of what they did with the money. Or
That's what I'm asking. I don't know what they've done with the money, Sugar Ape, and it is a very good idea when there's been a GoFundMe and a certain amount of money is unaccounted for. It's a very good idea to tell the donors, this is what we've done with the remainder of the money. So to answer your question, Sugar Ape, I don't know what's happened to any of the money. I have no idea. It might have all gone to very good causes and charities and missing persons groups and all that. I don't know. My problem is when we're not told, it looks suspicious. So for the people like you to then say, oh, there's nothing to see over here, I would say there's a lot to see over here. There's a reason why someone like Debbie has chosen not to tell the world what happened to all those donations. It is what it is.
I think that was a fair answer, Duncan. I also think Sugar Ape was pretty fair, saying where's the proof of where she spent it. But then again, perhaps she should prove where she spent the money to the actual donators, people that donated. That's my opinion. What do you feel about that, Duncan or Jan?
Well, I'll go first, Jan. I really think it's very important when you have a GoFundMe and we're told that the aim is this. For example, the funeral. I think we all get that. No problem with that. The Dutch dog team. We all get that. No problem with that. But I think I mentioned this last time. When we're told part of it is going to fund the actual searchers, the Guardia Civil and the fire service and all those people, that's not true. Debbie could have taken that back and said, well, I made a mistake. None of that money goes to them because that's a public service. All we're asking for is a little bit of transparency. And I mean, I come back to Sugar Ape's point. I don't know where the money was spent, and that's the problem. If it were clear where the money was spent, we'd all be happy, I think. It would all make sense. And I'll say it again, I'm not averse to Debbie saying, and the remaining 20,000 went into my bank account. Because whatever, that's fine. Just tell us. It's the lack of information that stinks, in my book.
Yeah, we had the GoFundMe set up by Lucy. I mean, this is old ground, so it's set up by Lucy. It was just a bit odd. We've said it before with the amount and how it went to. Yeah.
Right. And here's Sugar Ape saying that I'm calling Debbie a grifter without evidence. Okay, Sugar Ray, listen, the evidence is that Debbie is making money, has made money off the death of her son. That's what I see. Now, if you think that's okay, that's fine. But what I see is a mother that's made money off the death of her son. I think that's grifting. And it's absolutely precious that the accident group point fingers at the likes of Mama D or Whack saying you're grifting. They can't do it with me because I don't make any money at all. But they still point the finger at me and say, oh, well, you're getting clout out of it. So it seems to me the accident group will point fingers at the lesser grifters or the people that get nothing. The biggest grifter of all is right in front of them, it's Debbie Duncan, and they don't even recognize it. And that, Sugar Ray, is hypocrisy. Got it?
Yeah, I think it would have made people a lot happier who donated. Lou donated. My mod would have been made them a little bit happier in knowing. But she did. There was a statement that got put out, and we sort of picked it apart. And she said some got spent on the Dutch team, some got spent on the funeral, and there was something about repatriation. Because I said, well, doesn't the insurance cover that? Some insurance do, some insurance doesn't. Um, Jan or Duncan, do we know whether the insurance covered the repatriation of the body and the slight second repatriation of the body parts? Sorry to be morbid. Over to you guys.
I think we need to remember also that there was a prior GoFundMe set up by Rachel Hargreaves. Why? Why did Rachel Hargreaves set up one that was then taken down? And then along comes Lucy, who sets one up. Why? Why did they set it up?
Was there two set up? I don't know how they work in the way I can donate on the screen. Was there two set up?
Yes.
It would be great if Rachel could let us know. There was two, was there?
Yes. Rachel Hargreaves set one up, and then that was taken down. I don't know how much she got on that, Duncan. Do you know? If you take
the amount that comes to mind is 10,000. I'm not sure that's true, and I'm not sure of the reason. Was it because something was hacked or something? Why was it taken down? What was the reason?
Al, if you can take the thingy down, the writing down, then we can see Duncan. Otherwise, he's blocked out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I don't mind being blocked out.
Let's wait for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can't see him. It's okay to sort of put it up, but not keep it up.
It's
And I
fine.
can't see Duncan at all. Just click
I'll
on the right side, on hide.
Hold on. Yeah, I got it.
I see my tutorial.
A little bit. Yeah, it was good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I think the first one got to about 10K, and then it was taken down, and there was some sort of, oh, Debbie didn't know anything about it. Oh, I don't know why she set that up, and oh, it was hacked or whatever. And then that was taken down, and then there was another one put up. But why by Lucy? That doesn't make sense to me. Can anyone in the chat give me a good reason why Lucy would set that up? Was it for can't think of the right blood money I was going to say. I don't know. But why did she do it?
Yeah, that's another question that's never been looked into. If the GoFundMe is for Debbie, you would have thought this was Lucy's brainchild. This was her big idea. You would have thought Lucy would just say to Debbie, I've got a good idea. You're going to have a lot of costs on the horizon here. How about you set up a GoFundMe and I can help you with it? But it was odd that the GoFundMe was Lucy's blurb at the beginning, all in the name of Debbie Duncan. And then lo and behold, you know, we hear in the documentary, Debbie was, well, I didn't know anything about it. And, you know, the money was rolling in. It is odd. It is odd. If I were doing it, I would have asked the person that the GoFundMe was directed towards if that were okay. But it seems like Lucy just went ahead and Debbie's good at shrugging her shoulders. You notice that she shrugged her shoulders and was like, okay, and that's it.
to you. She's very good at shrugging her shoulders. Absolutely. I think she goes through her life shrugging her shoulders. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not a shoulder shrugger, and I'm sure you're not either, Duncan. You know, it's a pathetic way of acting, really. And okay, I'll probably be in the next documentary. Saying that.
Al or Jan, how did it happen that Rach became in charge of that Facebook group? Does anyone know the background to that? Was that set up by Rach, or was that another? Debbie was just told about it and said, "That's okay, you run it, Rach." But how did that happen?
I think it was Rachel that set up the Jay Slater Facebook thing, and that's where the first GoFundMe appeared. But I think we had to understand, and you know, it's been proven. I mean, if you don't think it's true, then don't think it's true. But it's been proven that those people, they're not that close. So why would somebody other than the family be setting up these GoFundMes? That has to be asked and also has to be answered. And that wasn't brought up. I think there was one small mention of the GoFundMe on the documentary.
Yeah, it is. It is odd. You got Warren, you got Zach. You would have thought they would have been instrumental in setting up the GoFundMe or the Facebook group if the family really wanted that. But it does seem we've got these outside forces leaping in there to do all this. And there's always the question: why are you taking it upon yourself to do this? If it's all an act of great generosity, so be it. But they're also characters, key players in this story that come out looking rather suspicious, especially Lucy. I just can't get over that whole blurb of lies in the GoFundMe, and everyone kind of thinks that's okay. It really isn't. If you're describing what this fund is for, and you yourself are lying throughout it about, hi, my name's Lucy, and I had to go home early alone, so I wasn't part. It's terrible. Then the money's rolling in, but the people that are donating, they're basing it on the lies they've read, and I don't think there was any apology for that, and I can't imagine Debbie Duncan ever apologizing and saying, I do realize what Lucy says in there is lie after lie after lie, but there we go. It's a GoFundMe. What am I going to do? I don't think Debbie Duncan will ever think that was a bad thing to do.
Yeah, no, looking at the chat. No, I haven't got the TV on. Is there some sort of interference going on? I can hear some sort of interference, but I didn't know whether it was coming from you guys, because I keep sort of dipping in and out anyway.
Yeah, sorry, that was me. I'm back again. Hold on. There we go.
It just all stinks, really. I can't think of anything else to say. It just.
But Jan, to go back to Aldon's original question, I think it was, where do we go from here, or what happens from now on? I said, depends if there's another documentary. If there isn't, we've reached the end of the line. As far as, well, unless we do our own documentary, but yeah, it seems to have come to an end. What we will see in media world about this. But what do you think, Jan? Where do we go from here?
I think as far as mainstream media is concerned, it is the end of the road, but I don't think it necessarily has to be the end of the road as far as making content about it. And I think, the more that is put out into the universe about what actually could have happened, and if we provide proof, then I don't see that content creators should stop talking about it. No, I don't think we should. People are still talking about John Benet Ramsey. People are still talking about so many true crime stories. Why should we stop just because there's been, this wonderful tribute to this young boy that, you know, this poor innocent lad that lost his life in Tenerife. I don't think we should. No,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should still be talking about it. And you know, if nobody else wants justice for Jay, then that's up to them. But you know, I want justice for him, and I know that you do too, Doug.
Yeah, I'm just curious if the accident group will slowly disappear. Because now that their side, the documentary and the accident narrative is all being put out there, and in their minds proven, I don't see a whole lot of point in them hanging around. But they will, or they seem to want to. Can you explain, Al? You're kind of neutral on this. Can you explain why the accident group are still, um, fighting this debate?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if they are. I don't know what's going on. There might be some toing and froing going on. I really don't know. Do you remember I dropped the case? So I don't know what's going on, the ins and outs of who did what, who did where, who did why. But obviously it's got quite serious, as you know, Duncan, with yourself as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
is everyone hearing me all right? Is there an interference now? Is it better?
When you're talking, it's fine.
Is that okay now? Is it?
I think it. I think it could possibly be your audio because I'm just on my phone, and that's perfectly fine. So I think it's yours.
What's happening to the audio? Is it making a funny noise?
Yeah, it's
Crackly?
yeah. Dance. Can you speak?
It seems fine to me. There's a slight, it's very slight to me, a slight background sound when Aldon is speaking, but it's not that bad to me.
Yeah. Can you try without the headphones, Al?
No, because the mic is what I'm using.
Yeah, but I've got a feeling. I don't know.
Otherwise, you'll be able to hear me very well from the tablet. It was fine before, wasn't it? Oh, somebody said my mic is fine. Is that right? Is it okay? Sound like I'm underwater?
I mean, it's not too bad. All
Maybe
clearly.
it's my back. Is that better now? Maybe because I've got the mic away from my mouth.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. Well,
I wanted to wrap the J. I wanted to wrap up the J and the documentary.
yeah,
up,
I'm going
if
to head off.
that's okay.
I'm going to head off now. Dance, can you please answer my email?
Will do.
I'm
Will
going
do.
to track you down. Slap you.
I
Will do.
I was going to talk about the John George case. Did we want to go over that or save it, Duncan?
Maybe save that. Maybe save that because I'm just looking at the names of the people in the comments. A lot of them are big Jay Slater followers. But it's your show. You're the host. If you want to say, something.
I was going to say I've got to disappear really. So that's what I was saying. Whether you wanted to save it or not. I can't really get here for long, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Got 152 in the chat, and hit those like buttons. That would be fantastic. And it's been good though. It's been quite good. I think I did want to talk about John George case, but we can save that. What I want to do is do a weekly, maybe put it on the same time on a Sunday, and then if something comes up in the week, then I can maybe ask you two if you're available for a live as well. And I also want to talk about the Nicola Bully case as well, if that's okay, Jan and Duncan.
Yep.
I'll probably miss the is it John George? I'll miss that one because I don't know anything. Definitely be happy to have a chat about the Nicola Bully case. So I'm going to head off and say thank you guys for a lovely discussion again, for a really interesting discussion. Thank you so much to everybody that came and joined in the discussion. And hopefully I'll be back on Al's channel very soon. Take care of yourself.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jan.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you, Jan.
Yeah, I think we've done an hour and 45 minutes, and it does tie into whether I'm limited on the hours of StreamYard. And I'm going to look at another platform as well that gives me more hours, but it might be unlimited anyway. It does exhaust you, these things. I don't know about you, Duncan. You're probably okay with it, but it's quite tiring. And I did.
I think there's a big
do my little
difference now
race.
when you're hosting. I think when you're hosting and you're managing everything, I think it's a bit different. It's actually quite relaxing if you're just the guest. But when I don't know, I think it can be quite taxing when you're the guy that's running it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll talk about John George later and Maddie. It's really, really intriguing what's gone on with Maddie. And they found crystal meth on her, bag of crystal meth. What I'll do, I'll make up a bag of. I've got some coconut powder, and I'll just show people what a kilo is. Is a kilo because it's
Yeah.
quite a bit. It's like a sample bag. I don't know whether anyone's watched Breaking Bad, but you know all about crystal meth, and you can make it blue. And she had this on her, and she said that somebody forced her to carry it. She was with a friend from England, and it's a good one to talk about. So I can say that I'll keep the audience hanging, and I'll keep everyone hanging on that one because that's I won't say good because it is morbid. And Maddie has her own story to tell. So if she ever wants to come on, and she's on social media, she can do, and she can tell her story. And I won't judge, and maybe she can change our minds. But it is, and that's something we'll talk about later. Then Duncan.
Yeah, I think there might be one or two things in that case coming out in the next week. So I think it's a good idea to wait a week and see what happens with this one. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. And also the Nicola Bully case. If you look at Nicola Bully, if you're interested, Peter Folding has come out and he said the police weren't interested originally in his sonar equipment finding the body. They palmed him off. He's come back. He's doing interviews, and he's messaged Starmer, as I said, and he's going to try and get the case reopened.
Right.
I will say my goodbyes now. I want to thank the mods, and so does Rosie, and everybody in the chat. It's been brilliant, really. I don't know if the accident group were in. Some of them were in, and they're welcome, and they were quite respectful. Thank you very much for that. It's going down now, 114. But yeah, and you can also watch this on replay, and I hope it's getting better all the time. And yeah, so yeah, Rose said goodbye, and I will say, don't have any nasty dreams tonight. Over to you, Duncan, to say goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Very, very much appreciated everyone that had something to say and joined us. And good idea, Al. If we could make it a kind of weekly thing, I think a lot of people would feel good about that. So let's aim for that. Yeah.
Yep. I would like to say that I do respect people's other views in the chat about anything that we've said. It is already out there in the media, and we've got a side on things, and you've got a side on things. And everybody and my mods were fantastic tonight. And yeah, so over and out for me, everyone. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And also, if there are any improvements, then just let me know, or let Duncan know, or anyone you're in contact. And if you can get anyone on, any other creator, or anyone wants to come on, say hello, or say a piece, or any crime that you want to talk about. Right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Night, night, everyone. Julianne, thanks very much. Gavan, Govaldo. Govaldo, is that Spanish? Julianne, Matt Perney, Mrs. Skeptical, very good, Mrs. Skeptical. Ellis, Lisa Payne, Jackie Skull, Jules, Sheila Morris, good night all, love you, love your life. Smoggy, good night. Liam, good night. Chrissy D, Laura, good night. Pam E, Sheila Morris, Kylie, Jackie Skull, Jules, Matt again. DD64. Some of you gone. Lou, you've done a fantastic job. Thanks, Lou, my mod, secretary. Angela Smith. Sarah couldn't make it. She had a family emergency. Someone is end of life. Well, I haven't seen her anyway. Sorry, did I say? What did I say her name was? It's getting late. Joe B. Sorry, it's getting late. Tired for my little race. Vid, thank you. Casey Travel, Sheila Morris, Fiona Davis, Jim Walker, Mr. B, Anonymous Sources, Casey Travel, Maggie GJ Ravers, hey, great mate. Stephen Goddard, Liam Critchie, Lisa Rosen, Austin, Maggie. I think I've named everyone. Anyway, thank you very much and good night. I will end the live now. And till the next time, please put your comments down. Yeah, thank you.